Meet you on ADAUTV to continue with you together debate about the agriculture process. As you know, this is one of these miracle process in our life. But before all of me, first of all, congratulate each of you on great victory in the patriotic war over the Armenian fascism. And I thanks our valiant army to this victory, and our commander-in-chief, Müəllif, and of course, friendly, multinational Azerbaijani people. I thanks, first of all, I bow down to the fallen heroes. Glory to the Azerbaijan army, glory to the commander-in-chief, Müəllif, glory to the Azerbaijani people. Karabakh is Azerbaijan is forever. And for this high note, let's continue our discuss what's dedicate one of the, as I said earlier, mainly an indispensable process of agriculture, this cultivation process. But before I like to remind men of this processing. Let's remind about a kind of this process. What's a solution by agriculture process? This is the process of the soil. Of course, before the sowing and planting include, firstly, ploughing. Second process, these like harrowing. Third one, this is a hoeing process. And last one, which will be together debate, this is a cultivation process. But before the lunch, the analyzing of this kind of process, of course, I'd like to remind again, the cultivation process distinguish it from the previous ones for other unique stream, because the cultivation consists of two main streams. First stream, this is a solid process. And second one, inter-row process. Inter-row process. And so distinguished as one, what the each of this process before the sowing and planting only consists of only one system, these solid ones. But the cultivation, as I said earlier, consists of two main streams. And each of stream consists of a machine. What's included for solution this kind of process? Isn't only that. And similarly, the second one, distinguished from the first one by kind of this operation and kind of this working part. Because the second process includes an similarity service of the plant. But before so deep analyzing and expressing this kind of this process, what's the cultivation, what's the solid one, and what's the inter-row, of course, let's expressing with you together the main information, and because the time is consuming for gathering so much kind of information for the short period, and therefore I will be proposal for you, my dear students. Of course, for specialists is very easy. They know about it. Like the Mr. Cleaning, the agriculture or melody of machines, very easy, so large and so easy analyzing kind of the process launch from the tillage to harvesting. And each of this process focusing by machine and device was using chiefly for solution this kind of the process. This is first of all, but there are, of course, and for additional materials include a particular characteristic and compassion isn't, I would say, so deep compassion, but sufficiently compassion. The machine was produced, of course, as a post-military and CIA, Commonwealth of Independent States, as right now. But there are a drawback as this literature. What's the drawback? Drawback was today is trademark. Our state is open, and therefore there are many isn't only the products from CIA country and same time and foreign developing country to us United States, as European country, as Germany, Italy, France, and particularly in Asia country, as China, Thailand, and other. And among and over the farmers which haven't so kind of information about this kind of machine was produced in abroad, but so deeper know each of this characteristic and function of the work the machine was and device was producing and producing at the present time in post-Soviet area could be more complex to choose right equipment and device for solution this kind of operation. But as you know, from this one obliged future quality and quantity and reliability of the process of agriculture. But the second, I would say, recommend for you the fourth literature, Kavadaskar and Kauthari, by the name of the book, Review and Methods of the Seed Sowing, the Concept of Multi-Purpose Seed Sowing Machine. Of course, these authors chiefly express it in your books the practical, skillful experience in different field and different country and region, launched from the European as Germany, in Italy, and particularly in Malaysia, Asia country. Chiefly so deeper focusing attention by Cambodia and Thailand, and particularly in Kunming, China. But what's interesting at this kind of literature, because there the author as theoretical as practical knowledge linking together and present for attention how suitable and which kind of this machine is more reliable using at this kind of process. And of course, the fifth literature is too, for specialists, of course, for this man who is like enlarge our knowledge about this kind of process, and similarly, additional and enrich our knowledge about replacing this kind of this operation for the other one. Of course, this kind of article and focusing by of Impact Factor Journal in Engineering and Research. But right now, before the lunch, I discuss, as I expressed it for our introduction, looks like to our outline. Of course, outline is indispensable for us because we are first of all drafting our agenda for expressing what will be gathering, what kind of information we could be gathering today, and which of this item we could be pointing our attention. Of course, this item so this by more correctly way. First item, it is dedicated to agri-technical requirements of superficial processing. Isn't only for this kind of agricultural machine, in a kind of agricultural process, all of the machine need to write in deeper analyzing requirement. Because without that, we never could know advantage or disadvantage using this kind of this machine or this kind of this operation to this soil. Second one, this is technological sim. Technological sim or work of the type, of course. Each of this machine in kind of this operation consists of other process and technological sim was distinguished from the other one, and therefore special before the using of agriculture device or machine, we must be analyzing and studying kind of this sim could be more suitable, maybe I would say reliable for this kind of the soil and condition. And third items dedicated to the classification of the machine. As I said earlier, at the present time, number of machines so enlarged. And therefore choice this or that kind of machine or device could be very complicated for us, and therefore first of all men are target before choice analyzing each of this machine by maintain, and secondly kind of attached device, quality of this device, and after that of course process of using, and the second one adjustment process. Of course, this organization is superficial. Of course, this is similarity as the technological stem of the working tire, the cultivator, but I try to a little bit enlarge and distinguish this for the fourth one because it's only for students, because specialists know about this kind of process. And last are items dedicate. One of this I would say distinguished cultivator, this is the milling one. But why I'm especially focusing my attention isn't only the cutter cultivator or cutter plant cultivator, but especially milling cultivator. At the present time, nowadays, I would say that new kind of up-to-date technological using the minimalization or zero technological of tillage soil. I would say withdrawing ploughing, withdrawing harrowing, and similarly hiring process. And they chiefly based for I would say losing kind of this prepare the soil and focusing attention only by make the whole, I would say full low, and fuller the raw bed for the seeding, which first of all appreciate for two main parameters: fiscal and protecting the soil for several moving over it, which severely protecting the as mechanical as chemical condition of the soil. And therefore I'm especially I'll be focusing and enlarging the milling cultivator and working body and method of installation of it. But right now let's analyzing what's the cultivation. Cultivation is similar to distractions, weeds and loosen soil, but without reversing. And again repeat, because the ploughing similarity using for distractions soil and plants too, and similar as harrowing, but only each of this main function is reversing, but the cultivation without this kind of process. This is first of all. Secondly, the accumulation of this preservation moisture and nutrients from the acceptable mastering of the plant. And right now I'd like, first of all, as I said, let's analyzing of cultivation process in, as I said earlier, the kind of the machine for solid and interior process. I'm again repeat, this kind of the machine distinguished from each other, isn't only by function and similarity by kind of this process and operation too, and kind of attaching to the machine, to the tractor, is a cultivator. Cultivator consists of two main forms: hook on hook on cultivator and hicking. But what's the main distinction between them? Because the main distinction between them, capacity solution of the work over the soil. And for the present, I like to express about the cultivation device. The cultivator continues the processing, as I say, of the soil and the processing. Particularly, the cultivator addition by special device attached is these spike tools or partially the spring harrow. But why for loosening and align of the soil? But main part of this cultivator, this puff, this rack attached to the frame of cultivator, and of course wheel for handling at the transportation kind and at the partial rear, of course, rear if it's cooking. Only for handling over the soil and handling the deeper to processing of the soil. And of course, hydraulic system for handling as process to transportation and working one. The cultivator chiefly attached at the ending by cultivator, the tractor, the power no more than 3 kilonewtons. This like as MTZ 819 is one of the Soviet contemporary tractor was produced in Ganja automobile factory too. But from contemporary foreign tractor, I'll be a proposal the New Holland or the tractor class company. And mainly we are interesting what's distinguished about the work part of the cultivator from the plough, harrow and harrowing. This harrow plough with hicking or attaching by rack. And rack, as you look, consists of two main systems. This rigid rack and spring. Because this has been installed by software system for protecting the work part from broken and deformation. And as you look from the same at the backside attached harrow, of course, the tooth. Or here chiefly installed the tooth harrow for smashing and align the cover of the soil. And mainly the adjustments of the cultivator, as I said, for this picture more moving and scenic, how could be expressing this like by kind of this frame and kind of this end link and attaching to the tractor kind of and hydraulic system, and of course the except the rack, rigid rack, and consists of and flexible spring system for protecting, I am again said, isn't only the working part and similarity and the old body and processing and deeper of the processing of the solving and I would say smashing and destructing of the weeds and of course smashing of the fraction side. Of course, they were processing the base of the wheels, inside the wheels, their processing will increase. On the contrary, lifting the lower wheel made of the adjustment mechanism, so hand shake. And spring here is on the base, spring the compress. By compress form is make the business of the driver is more easy. I would say for additional information, in contemporary tractors have the same kind of this function because this connected by special electronical system which make signals by cabin to displaying on the tractor's signals, and from inside of this cabin handling as deeper of the working process, and similarity the equaling working of the machine. But this kind of cultivator distinguish it from the previous one. This like specially using for interpreter. This is a plant cutting cultivator TPP2. The structure I would say facilitates similarity as previous one. Frame with attached working part, but looks like part a little bit enlarged for previous solid kind of this process. And of course, include in the pneumatic wheel for handling the wheat deeper of the processing, and similarly the mechanic lifting for this one. And as is of the CIA machine was producing in the CIA country, this hydraulic system. This machine is for inter-row processing. The kind of this working part a little bit distinguished by on the frame installed attached to line of the working parts and hard rigid rack, but for facing each other, and by sides you could be looking the device working part what distinction from the pairs was included in others. This line, this is a rotary working part for additional process also for cutting, and of course the process of the soil. In as all of this cultivator for inter-row processing using the hook tools, I'd say especially this kind of this cultivator is hinging with a rotary knife. And of course here it includes the main mechanism for rotary wheel, adjustable extension of a rack of rotary power, and of course the wheel power, and further of course was indispensable here further for make the soil more gentle and for next kind of separation, and of course the kind of hook on this like for additional to the tractor. And for lunch we dispute with you together analyzing kind of this working part, but here more I'll say enhance your purpose could be looking kind of the system, how attached the working parts path to the rigid rack, and kind of them the lancet path which using the software system by spring system, and of course riper shape it. If pay attention, kind of this material distinguish it from the purpose and the right one, because and is known is distinguished by corner if the first 25-30 degrees, second one 60-65 degree. But at the ending, of course, attached to the path equipment for which one is indispensable for solution is over. And of course, the last one often rename it as S-type, a shape of the working part. Looks like this cultivator distinguish it from the previous one. What with distinguish it? By working part. This working part isn't consist of rack system. It consists of course ring. I would say that, and the ring ending is sharpness and by angle from each other. Similar to us, I would say harrowing, but only the angle of attack a little bit isn't so high, a little bit wise. And especially using this kind of this working part for quality, for more quality, preparing and cutting the wheat parts and root system was staying under the growing, harvesting. And at the last one, align system, rolling system for smashing the big fraction of the soil, and of course cutting the planar system with the soil, and make the color of the soil align for more quality solutions in this kind of separation. At the left bottom, you'll be observing the fragments of the section, how attached, separate, even by battery, separate, attached by each of these organs, because this like is a surface system which consists of hydraulic cylinder, which are the handling the product of this and that kind of this process. And this cultivator HB1 TTP94, and this cultivator produced it from 2001 as stimulate and same kind of mirroring of the past one, but only number of, as you look, working parts is distinguished because it's installed, attached by, on the frame by by three-way, and kind of this surface system a little bit distinguished. It's attached by bottom of the frame and linking by two spring system, and two spring system has be improving quality, protecting the rack, and similar to as POW system for blocking or deformation. But for practice of comparison, the Soviet Commonwealth Independent States machine, I'd like to present for attention the machine was producing in another foreign country, I'll say developing, I'll say that. This is a DAF machine, and sometimes is renamed as Dandy. This machine a little bit distinguished from the previous one. What with? For first look is hook-on machine, but only distinguished as the next one. Is connected by tractor rotor system and creating the activity by a rotor system of a tractor. What's created a new kind of action. This is the first of all. Secondly, by size frame is fulfilled. It consists of two parts for using and make easy transportation process, as you could be observing on the left bottom. And thirdly, kind of this working part have attached to the frame. Similarity as previous one, under the frame attached, and that spring system, let's say soft system, a little bit distinguished. Looks like if you observing ahead, similarity as this one. This one is ahead of the frame, is attached, and isn't only two spring system, but they chiefly consist of one main bigger the hydraulic system, which protecting and softening the rack from the broken and deformation. But exceptions is one. At the average bottom, you would be observing the one of this main additional equipment. This is a disc harrow. Disc harrow and cultivator. Therefore, this operation is created as multi-operation, as additional destroying the big fraction of the soil, and same time is destroying for small fraction. And similarly, the rack with path destroying the root system and mixing the soil. This kind of this operation, I will say, distinguished from the previous one because as heavy cultivator, as the cultivator with a varying body of a ring one, coarse one, distinguished because this having the same kind of the system, this only main process obliged for destruction big fraction and make the soil more suitable for sowing or planting. And of course, the last additional equipment, this rolling system for align. But this kind of this cultivator is distinguished if the previous one we could be using on the light wheat process soil or chiefly arid soil. This one we could be using average condition of the soil too. And right now I like to pay attention the equipments and of course the device machine was produced after 2005 cultivator. The similarity as previous one as be same. The frame and attached the for 3 or here is a 4 ways the working parts by distinguished size with each other. Of course, there's obliged kind of this soil we could be using, and especially additional hydraulic system for protecting the isn't only the working part, because each of the working part installed untitled system, a spring system, and chiefly what's produced in CIA, and hydraulic system using for protecting the frame, and similarity equalizing the deeper of this prepare the soil. And as the last part attached special planing, ruler planing for mixing the cutting the plant, and the big parts was staying after the destroying the path of the rack, smashing this soil was make the all weeds and root system as a fertilizer for soil for future, increasing the productivity of it. This of a cultivator, of course the heavy cultivator too, if you look, distinguish it. What with? First of all, the number of the rack was attached to the frame, similarity, but only destination between them is distinguished. This is first of all. Secondly, as a bottom one, but on the left, you could be observing the segment of the working part. And I like to pay attention to the rack. Rack is gentle, very gentle than the previous one, because looks like from the working parts of this machine, for instance, looks like this, like the very heavy, rigid, and therefore spend more kind of metal, and therefore is by physical condition is spend more material and so more monetary kind. And as a broken time, of course, is replacing by new one, which similarly costing by pocket of the farmer. This is first of all. Secondly, this kind of this metal, if we are attached by the way or four-way, oblige kind of this wideness of the cultivator could be I spent more kind of this energy. I would say a diesel of the tractor, and similarity in I would say resistance to the engine of the tractor, and spend more energy. And last one was distinguished in fertile of this construction. Looks like software system. Software system a little bit bigger. There's a one. If you look by wideness of this spring system and condition of them is distinguished from the previous one. It looks like one kick, and of course two system as be two system is addition to each other kind of this process, but first of all, when is the indispensable one here? What's the soft system and spring system must be same time or protect the working part from deformation, and therefore this part is calculated more correctly, special for this rack system. And please pay attention at the back side with the additional attached the ruler. If at the purpose is attached by same line, if you look at this cultivator carga is by ankle, two by one, the two opposite. And what's the function of it? As the process of working, I would say that the cultivator, especially the plants, I would say a small fraction of the soil, by different kind of this attitude, could be more quality destruction and smashing the soil, and the plane after working could be more quality and reliability. And therefore this kind of this operation by ankle and distinguished by side and opposite attaching is more useful for contemporary cultivator system. Right now I like to attention the Amazon. This is Germany. Germany cultivator was I would say appreciate as high score. If you pay attention to the system of attaching the working part, looks like how attaches the working part. Similarly as rigid, you could first look say this is a rigid system of attaching by by side bottom right. You could be observing this is a full steel which only make us S shape, and this like in more useful for protecting the us working part, and similarity as from deformation, and same time for quality preparing the soil, because each of them by right destination attaching by frame. And looks like if in CIS cultivator, chiefly using the rack by puff system, and out of, if you look, the ending of the cultivator isn't similar. So really is as puff, isn't all by wides. Is narrowing, but what's useful here? And fulfill. If the puff system of the Soviet, what the producer Soviet looks like, is present for attention this kind, and therefore for each of this attack, each of this resisted by soil could be of deformation, because here is attached to the rack, and of course this is a sharpness place is for cutting, but the the producing of Amazon a little bit narrowing and full. And therefore, and by same angle, all of this destination is sharpness and ready for cutting and smashing as root system, and similarly the plant was staying under the harvesting. And average system. Please pay attention to average system. Average system installs the harrow. But harrow isn't fulfilled harrow as is previous one. Looks like this kind. The disk harrow one battery installs the harrowing system as harrow one. In this system, the harrowing separate installed, and each of this part is consists of abunə safata system in angle of installed. Attaching is distinguished from the previous one because it's more useful, prepares the soil. And next moment here looks like the first process, deep smashing and cutting the root system of the wheat, and that's what is staying after the harvesting. The second and third line of this cultivator path is distract it together and smashing, and that part what's staying fulfilled isn't so deeper cutting because obliged from the witness system of the plant or soil too. The last section I said that more quality finally this kind of process, crush it, smash it, and form small pies. And looks like as the last part this rolling system, but was distinguished. The rolling system is the wild, small and narrow. This rolling system is wide and bigger because the process has been tiling over it. And of course, suffrage system, hydraulic system over it for right handling the deeper, because obliged kind of what consists of under the soil. It could be as part of the big stone. This could be a negative influence to working parts. Is right handling or distraction equalizing of this working process. For the hydraulic system, which by automatical system is connected to cabin of the driver, could be right handling after the take to the stone or this different kind of this element over the soil. But this is a plant feed the cultivator carrying one of this Paris one, I would say. Paris one cultivator was using isn't only for servicing the plant and similarly for feeding plant. That's why here for additional guys equip the feeder system. This is a tank. For feeder could be include the mineral or organic fertilizer. Of course, for pipe system installed to attach it to the rack under the path system. And of course, the furrower. Furrower for prepare the soil, make the hole on the bed of the soil for include their same time and feeder system. And on the backside, of course, attached element isn't all of this harrow system. Element of the harrow system to furrow the soil. And as last, I would say, expressed, of course, kind of this working part, replaceable, of course. For you could be interesting, what's the working part using where? This like the pollen puff, the lancet universal puff, and the chisel like the ripping puff, chiefly using for soil, kind of the process of the soil. The feeding knife and the power damp using chiefly for inter-row processing of the soil, and same time as you look under the rack attached a special pipe system for wheat with piper connected by tank for feeding and flooding to the soil the fertilizer. And housing sub, kind of this housing sub for more quality, I would say, smashing and make the surface of the soil and aeration of the soil more suitable. This is a housing sub with the latest blade and of course the latest baseboard. Looks like what's the difference between this one, kind of this wing, was attached by sides. And of course the third one, earlich baseboard, distinguished from the Paris 2 by special system for feeding. And of course the disc section needle for using for mixing the soil and plant together. Of course, this expression about the breakdown, the shelter, the work share, the shelter security, same by us preparation of the field, plow the land, and of course the working the soil cultivation cost, shuttle way. But what's the main attention I'd like to express them by quality assurance. It's a good quality assurance, special for students, is a very indispensable moment. Here at the first press check, corrects all adjustment of car, importantly, of the car's working body with wide capture. Depth of processing was indispensable moment here. 10, 15, no more than 10, 15. But particularly in the car of the works, the necessary watch, the also strange the harassment of the movements. The unit to be provided could be, I would say easy all the time, but rare, but could be provided the special equipment by deeper no more than 50 centimeter or harrowing, and of course the clipping 7 and 10 centimeter. And of course the fragment, how attached, contemporary, up-to-date cultivator. Looks like at the right above one is the cultivator with attaching the special body with the harrow system by sides, and of course by rotary pump. Average one, this is similarity as previous one, only by rotary pump, and of course by pump arrow system by heart. Looks like as I said, the condition of the contemporary very gentle. I'd say for fiscal more useful in income. I would say that than this one, because the metal process was included at this kind of machine so higher, and therefore weight of this machine and part of the machine so heavy. And additional chain for us be handling the deeper, and particularly hydraulic, but here is a hydraulic mechanical system for handling the deeper of the working process. And of course a special working body with guard for protecting the equipment from broken and deformation. And the left bottom section working body with plough shearing. As be for additional aligned soil and similarity the cutting the weeds was if the soil should be used, I would say that. the soil which spread it the noxious weeds as be earth weeds, and because root system is so tightly linked with each other, and on that time using the plough sharing working parts. And of course, some of arrangement and adjusting the working body. For example, the Karen, it is a cultivator plants feeder, the 4.2. This 4.2 is a destination dislike, and overview, you could be present the more accurate how could be mass handling the adjustment chapter for before the using the inter-row processing. The destination between the wheel more than 140 centimeter, the destination between the furrow must be 70 centimeter, and destination between the furrow ridge and working parts no more than 16 centimeters. But generally its wideness must be 500 centimeters, and of course the weightness 300 centimeters. But as looks like the PPT, you could be observing the kind of right and wrong adjustment of the cultivator before the using on the soil. At the left, in average one is in correct form. How could we look? At the first one, the working part could be working as be free without solution kind of this process. At the second one, as you look, the working part so deep attached under the earth. Therefore, the process of the working could be distract and misleadingly deeper, and what's additional the resistance of the soil, and similarity includes the using of power for this kind of separation, and as the last one could be distract the or breaking or deforming the working part, and same time spending more kind of this vigorous rasters. And the third one is a right correcting. How could be what it must be adjustment on the right plane, especially is using on agricultural garage ways using especially this kind of plane for right handling. The deeper could be by hydraulic system or by hand, handling the deeper and processing of the soil. And right now I like to present for attention the contemporary machine was using in Germany, especially the New Holland class firm, and of course this like of the machine after looks like what's condition created before the preparing the soil, and after using the cultivator with distinguished kind of this working part. This cultivator is produced by Linkment. As of right now, Linkment chiefly the Germany products. In main of this branch, linking we could be found in China, in Malaysia, in I would say in Cambodia to produce the same kind of this machine. If you pay attention to this cultivator without main working part, this rack and pulp chiefly consist of plane with attached the plane with cutter, and therefore for different kinds of the destination, and this cutter is special smashing for deeper, similar to us, all a kind of this cultivator, same kind of this deeper, cutting the root system of the plants, and same time destruction is a big fraction of the soil, and the same kind as looks like installed the working part. Looks like just a moment. Same condition installed, but only without this kind of this equipment and same kind of this Amazon tool, without this kind of this working part, and without the attached here the ruler. This isn't this kind of bigger. This has been similarity this kind of this ruler, but segmenter, different kind of this battery, but only same destination between each other, but distinguished size with each other. And at the bottom, I'd say last one, attached additional the cultured kind of this ruler system for destruction and smashing additional kind of material was make, as you look, color of the soil, condition of the soil, more suitable, more quality and aligned. So quite aligned, because after this kind of this processing, we saw clearly could be create what the processing of the soil could be using the smart sowing machine or smart planting tool. And this kind of this machine similarity as previous one, but only distinguished kind of this operation, because here is consists of same kind two operation as looks like destruction of the soil, this big planing, but by ankle attached by disc by sides, and average is as we planting each other, and average using the next time we will be just visit together the milling cultivator working parts, and last one is the rolling system, and at the back side of the tractor attached the planting machine. And therefore, at the same kind of the process, this green bull, American process of the solution operation together as prepare the soil, at the same time creating the planting of the soil. And this cultivator carrier was produced in Italy. Similarity is one of these unique and up-to-date machine. What the distinguishes you will be observing more viewing. Working part chiefly consists of discs, and which attached for first look is similar to, as I said, harrow, but only the destination between the working part distinguished a little bit wideness. This is the first thing. The second segment, vice versa, attached by same kind of this destination. And as the last one, additional the roll, but rolling cover by rubber cover, what's protecting the soil, additional pressing for destructions and mechanical facility of the soil. And this working parallel as the top down is, of course, it could be more easy look here, and I've got a movie for dedicate this kind of this machine, and as processing or working, and how could be created the soil after that one. For you could be more suitable, looks like the condition, and on after that you could be comparison which one of this cultivator could be more suitable using, and why this kind of this working part distinguished from the other. And this simple, I'll say, storm repellent. This is Italy cultivator. If you look like the number of the rigid rack is distinguished. Only consists of 4. This is interrow cultivator, and the roller beam is distinguished by size, is a little bit widest. And similarity if you look like, consists of same pipe system which function mixing. And if you pay attention, the ruler, the pipe was attached by discs, and installed is a disc for protecting the handling of this kind of operation by same sides and by ankle attached. Why? Because obliged kind of this process of working. Is could be more quality as we replace it one to the other one. And the working part, as you look, similarly as per with Amazon, it consists of fulfill material and which protecting this kind of this path from broken and similarity from deformation. Well, this kind of this cultivator. Independent kind of this wideness is produced in United States, RVPP, is chiefly using for the interrow for solving the soil. And if you like, the segment of the working rack is fulfill the shapes. And last one, this is cultivator vector. This vector is coher, is distinguished from the previous one because looks like at the last one additional after the ruler system attached and harrower system only by furrower, by finger tooth system for additional furrow and smashing the soil. And as I said, last one is the milling one. Milling cultivator. This was indispensable moment here. Because from this cultivator we could be the contemporary period using often than the previous cultivator, because this milling cultivator could be replacing all kinds of operation as ploughing, as harrowing and hand plough, because this protecting the soil from the destruction and same time income. First of all, I'd like to present for attention the main structure. It looks like a classification of them. The soil cutter consists of milling cutter, which consists of soiling main, soiling cutter process, milling cutter, well-hindered processing, and milling combined soil processing machine, which each of them consists of different kind of the form for grasslands, gardenlands, and forests, and the milling cutter for garden and bare parks, and of course for growth crop crops. And milling combined soil is chiefly using this kind of machine in especially for Italy, France, and Germany too. Milling riper and seeding unit for mixing and more quality using this machine. And working parts was chiefly using in milling cultivator. Peel hook, peel knife, points S-shape and same kick shape. Of course, the working part as the spring tools, it's produced from 2005. This like the rotavator, have a rotavator, Hoy body kind of the product, but is more perverse one, is heavy and therefore is withdrawn from the kind of this using. The fly working is a G-shaped bend. Many of the contemporary up-to-date machines using this kind of this working parts. And location knives on the flats, radial, cross, angular, and adjustment. And of course, radial fastening the knives flats, which expressed by GPS. It's rigid, isn't only by frame, only rigid, consists of one full parts. And of course, kind of the same arrangement, milling section on the drum. This is a drum, and on the drum attached working part. This is a G shape as we say it, and kind of the section distinguished. It looks like by kind of this ankle, different size, by face to face. And And this like the connecting by drum, the mill drums of the Holland company, two kind. This particular and offset Allen gears. And of course, design the layer, design work in the body. Firstly, this is with 4 knives, and the second one, this is 6 knives. If you pay attention, kind of this knife is distinguished. 4 same kind of knives, and here is 2 distinguished by one, which make the processing of the soil more quality. And right, substitute expression for you, kind of this processing. This one of this Purpose cultivator, milling cultivator for using for cotton processing, the KFG 3.6. This is contemporary, I'd say up-to-date one. The hydraulic table vertical milling cultivator LRN was produced in Italy. This is a horizontal milling cultivator, which I say consists of drum, which horizontal attached the working parts. Ergon 200P, this is similar to as first one produced in Italy. This like only distinguished the drum installed on the frame and wrapping, moving there. This is minigun, and particularly is branch produced in China too. And this rotary row-to-row milling cultivator, especially used for inter-row process. And of course, as time-consuming, I could be expressed a little bit more, but unfortunately, this kind about the milling cultivator will be expressed and deep analyzing this kind of process, because it's one of this, as I said, indispensable process in agriculture. And for this one, we are need some more much time for analyzing each of detail and conscientious analyzing and meticulous, I will say, observing each of this process. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have got any question or issue, I'll wait to answer each of them. Thank you.